Stop scrolling right now. Because if this message found you, it's not a coincidence the next 72 hours are about to test you in ways you didn't expect. Chosen one. There are moments in time that pass quietly, unnoticed by the world. And then there are moments like this, moments that arrive with a weight you can feel in your chest before you even understand why. The last 3 days of March are not ordinary days. They are not random, they are not accidental. They are a test, a doorway, and a beginning all at once. And if you are hearing this, if something inside you feels stirred, restless, or even slightly uncomfortable, it is because your spirit already recognizes what your mind is still trying to catch up with. You are standing at the edge of a chain reaction that has been set into motion long before you realized it, and now everything is about to unfold. You may have noticed the pressure building lately. Situations that once felt stable are starting to shift. People are acting differently. Opportunities appear and disappear faster than you can process. There is a strange sense of urgency in the air, like time itself is speeding up. This is not chaos, it is alignment. When a miracle chain reaction begins, it does not start with comfort, it starts with disruption. Because before something new can take root, the old must be shaken loose. And right now, you are being tested in ways that are subtle yet powerful. Your patience is being tested, your faith is being tested. Your ability to stay focused when everything around you feels uncertain is being tested. But understand this clearly. This is not a test designed to break you, it is a test designed to reveal you, the version of you that has been hidden beneath fear, doubt, hesitation. That version is being called forward now. Every challenge you face in these last 3 days is not there to stop you, it is there to activate you, and the way you respond matters more than you realize. Because each decision, each thought, each reaction is like a spark, and those sparks are about to ignite something much bigger than you can currently see. There is a reason it feels intense right now. When a chain reaction begins, it starts small, almost invisible. One moment leads to another, one shift triggers the next, and before you know it, everything is moving in a direction that cannot be stopped. This is how miracles actually work, not as a single dramatic event, but as a series of perfectly timed movements that build on each other. And right now, you are at the very first stage of that sequence. It may not look like a miracle yet. It may even look like confusion, delay, or resistance. But do not be deceived by appearances. What you are experiencing is the rearrangement before the revelation. You might feel like giving up. You might question whether you are on the right path. You might wonder why things seem harder just when you thought they would get easier. This is the test. Not whether everything goes smoothly, but whether you remain steady when it does not. Because the truth is, the breakthrough you are waiting for is not on the other side of ease, it is on the other side of endurance. These last 3 days are asking you one question. Will you hold your position or will you retreat? There is something powerful about the timing of this moment. The end of a month is always symbolic, but this one carries a deeper energy. It is a closing, yes, but it is also a trigger point. What you do now sets the tone for what comes next. This is where patterns are either repeated or broken. This is where cycles either continue or collapse. And this is where your future begins to take shape in ways that are not immediately visible, but undeniably real. You are not being asked to be perfect. You are not being asked to have all the answers. You are being asked to stay present, to stay aware, and most importantly, to stay aligned with what you know deep down is right for you. Even if it feels uncomfortable, even if it feels uncertain, because alignment in moments like this is what determines the direction of the chain reaction. One aligned choice leads to another. One moment of clarity leads to another, and suddenly, what once felt impossible starts to unfold naturally. Pay attention to what is being revealed to you right now, not just externally, but internally. The thoughts that keep returning, the emotions that feel stronger than usual, the instincts that you have been ignoring but can no longer silence. These are not random, they are signals. And in these final days of March, those signals are becoming louder for a reason. Because once this chain reaction fully begins, things will start moving quickly, and you will not have the same space to hesitate that you do right now. There is also something else you need to understand. Not everyone will pass this test. Some will give in to fear, some will walk away too soon, some will choose comfort over growth, but you are not here by accident. You have already come too far to turn back now. The very fact that you are still standing, still searching, still listening, this is proof that you are meant to move forward into what is coming next. And what is coming is not small, it is not ordinary, it is not something you can fully predict. Because when a true chain reaction begins, It surpasses expectations. Doors open that you did not even know existed. Connections form that change everything. Opportunities appear at the exact moment you are ready for them. But all of that begins here, in this test, in this moment, in these final days. So do not rush through them. Do not dismiss them. Do not underestimate them. This is where everything begins to shift. This is where the invisible starts to become visible. This is where the seeds you have planted through your effort, your patience, your persistence begin to respond. And as this momentum continues to build, chosen one, you may begin to notice something subtle but undeniable shifting within you. It will not necessarily announce itself loudly. It will not come with a clear explanation or a perfect sense of certainty. Instead, it will feel like a quiet knowing, a deep inner awareness that something is aligning in your favor even if your external reality has not fully caught up yet. This is how the chain reaction deepens. It moves from the outside world into your inner world, and once it takes hold there, nothing can truly stop it. There will be moments in these final days where you are tempted to react instead of respond. Situations may arise that trigger old habits, old fears, old ways of thinking. You might feel pulled toward doubt, toward frustration, toward questioning everything you have been holding on to. But this is where the real shift happens. Because every time you choose awareness over reaction, every time you choose trust over fear, you are strengthening the very force that is carrying you forward. You are proving that you are ready, not just for change, but for transformation. It is important that you understand the difference between movement and alignment. Many people move quickly during times like this. They rush, they panic, they try to control every outcome. But movement without alignment creates confusion. What you are being guided into is something different. You are being guided into intentional movement, into choices that come from clarity rather than pressure. And that requires you to slow down internally, even if everything around you feels like it is speeding up. You may also notice that certain connections in your life begin to shift. Some people may distance themselves without explanation. Others may suddenly reappear. Conversations may take unexpected turns. Energy exchanges may feel different than they used to. This is not coincidence. When a chain reaction begins, it does not only affect you, it affects everything connected to you. Relationships begin to reorganize, roles begin to change, and while this can feel unsettling, it is actually a sign that things are falling into their correct place. There is a deeper level of trust being asked of you now. Not blind trust, not passive acceptance, but active trust. The kind of trust that requires you to stay grounded even when you do not have all the answers. The kind of trust that asks you to keep showing up, to keep choosing your path, even when the outcome is not immediately visible. Because the truth is, what is being built right now is not fragile. It is not temporary. It is something that is meant to last. Something that is being constructed layer by layer through every choice you make in this moment. And here is where the intensity reaches its peak. As these last days come closer to their end, the test may feel strongest. You may feel like everything is being compressed into a single point of decision. Old doubts may rise one last time. External pressure may increase. You may feel like you are being pushed to your limit, but this is not where you break. This is where you define yourself. This is where you draw a line between who you were and who you are becoming, because the chain reaction does not fully activate until you make that internal shift. Until you decide, consciously and completely, that you are no longer going to operate from the same patterns that held you back before. That you are no longer going to let fear dictate your choices. That you are no longer going to hesitate when you feel the call to move forward. That decision, that moment of clarity, is the spark that turns everything from possibility into reality. After that, things begin to change in ways that feel almost surreal. What once required effort begins to flow. What once felt blocked begins to open. What once seemed distant begins to come closer. Not because everything suddenly becomes easy, but because you have shifted into alignment with what is already meant for you. And when that alignment locks in, the chain reaction accelerates. You will look back at these last 3 days and realize that they were not just a test. They were a threshold. A moment where everything could have gone in a different direction, but you chose to stay, to stand, to trust. And that choice will echo forward in ways you cannot yet fully comprehend. So as you move through what remains of this time, hold your awareness steady. Watch your thoughts, guard your energy, choose your responses carefully, not out of fear, but out of intention. Because every moment still matters. Every choice still counts. The chain reaction is already in motion, but how powerfully it unfolds is still being shaped by you right now. This is your moment of activation. Not loud, not dramatic, but deeply real. And once it completes, once these final days pass, you will not be the same person who entered them. You will be someone who has crossed a line, someone who has stepped into a new level of clarity, strength, and direction. And from that point forward, everything begins to move differently. Not because the world has changed overnight, but because you have. And that is where the true miracle begins, not outside of you, but through you, as the chain reaction continues to expand, unfold, and carry you into what was always waiting for you on the other side of this test. And as that realization settles deeper into your being, chosen one, something almost unexplainable begins to take shape within you. It is not loud, it is not overwhelming, but it is undeniable. It feels like a quiet power rising, like a steady flame that cannot be shaken by the winds around it. This is the moment where you stop looking outside for confirmation and begin to recognize that the confirmation has been within you all along. The chain reaction was never just happening around you, it was awakening inside you. There is a shift now in how you see things. Situations that once confused, you start to make sense. Delays that once frustrated, you begin to reveal their purpose. Even the obstacles you faced start to look different, as if they were never there to block you, but to position you. This is the clarity that comes after endurance. This is the reward of staying grounded when everything felt uncertain. And this clarity is not temporary, it is the foundation of what comes next. But even now, as things begin to align, there is one final layer to this test. It is subtle, almost invisible, yet incredibly powerful. It is the test of consistency. Not whether you can rise once, not whether you can stay strong for a moment, but whether you can maintain this level of awareness, this level of trust, this level of alignment moving forward. Because the truth is, the chain reaction does not end here. This is only the beginning of a much larger unfolding. You will be given opportunities very soon, opportunities that may not look like what you expected. Some will come disguised as challenges, others will come quietly, without announcement. And in those moments, you will need to rely not on what you see, but on what you feel, because your intuition is sharper now, your awareness is deeper now. And the path ahead will not always be obvious, but it will always be aligned if you choose to follow it. There is also a new level of responsibility that comes with this shift. As things begin to move in your favor, as doors begin to open and paths begin to clear, you will be required to step fully into who you are becoming. No more hesitation, no more second guessing, no more shrinking yourself to fit into spaces that no longer match your energy, because the life that is unfolding for you now requires your full presence. It requires your confidence, your clarity, your willingness to stand in your truth even when it feels unfamiliar. And yes, there may still be moments of doubt. That does not disappear overnight. But the difference now is that those doubts no longer control you. They pass through you instead of stopping you. They appear, but they do not define your direction. Because you have already proven to yourself that you can move forward even when uncertainty is present. And that is a level of strength that cannot be taken away from you. As the final hours of March begin to close, there will be a sense of completion, but not in the way you might expect. It will not feel like an ending. It will feel like a release, like something has finally unlocked, like a weight you did not even realize you were carrying has been lifted. And in that moment, you will understand that the test was never about the external circumstances. It was about you, your growth, your readiness, your ability to rise into something greater than what you were before. And then, as the new phase begins, the chain reaction accelerates in ways that feel almost effortless. Conversations start to flow differently. Ideas begin to come to you with clarity. Decisions become easier to make. You find yourself in the right place at the right time more often than you can explain. And slowly, piece by piece, the reality you have been moving towards starts to take form in front of you. This is where many people look for a dramatic sign. Something big, something undeniable. But what you will experience is something deeper than that. It is the quiet certainty that you are exactly where you need to be. It is the steady momentum that does not rely on constant validation. It is the knowing that even when things are still unfolding, they are unfolding in your favor. So do not rush past this moment. Do not look ahead so far that you miss what is happening right now, because this transition, this crossing point, this shift from one phase to another, it is sacred in its own way. It is the bridge between what was and what is becoming. And you have walked that bridge with strength, with awareness, with a level of resilience that has brought you to this exact point. Now, as everything begins to move forward, remember this feeling. Remember this clarity. Remember this version of yourself that refused to give up, that chose to stay present, that chose to trust even when it was not easy. Because this is who you are now. Not the version shaped by fear, not the version held back by doubt, but the version that steps forward with intention, with purpose, with quiet confidence. And as the chain reaction continues to unfold, it will carry you into moments that once felt out of reach, into spaces you once thought were not meant for you, into experiences that will confirm again and again that this was real, that this shift mattered, that these last 3 days were not just a test, but the turning point of something far greater than you could have imagined. And now, chosen one, you begin to notice something that once felt impossible to grasp. You are no longer chasing the moment, you are inside it. The energy has shifted so deeply that what once felt like waiting has transformed into becoming. There is a difference between hoping something will happen and realizing it already has, just not in the way you expected. This is where many fail to recognize the miracle because they are still looking for the old version of it, the loud, obvious, undeniable sign. But your miracle, it moves differently. It unfolds with precision, with timing that cannot be rushed, and with a quiet certainty that only you can truly feel. There is a calmness entering your spirit now, even if everything around you is still in motion. It is not the calmness of everything being perfect, but the calmness of knowing you are no longer lost. You are no longer questioning your direction the way you once did. Even when things are unclear, there is something steady inside you that says, keep going. That voice, that feeling, that inner pull, it has grown stronger through this test. And it will continue to guide you as the chain reaction moves into its next phase. Because make no mistake, this is not where it slows down. This is where it becomes real. The next phase will not ask you if you are ready. It will assume that you are, and opportunities will begin to appear in ways that require immediate decisions. You will not always have the luxury of overthinking. You will not always have the time to doubt. The very things you have been preparing for internally will now demand expression externally. And this is where your courage will meet your reality. There will be moments where you surprise yourself, moments where you respond differently than you used to, where you speak with confidence instead of hesitation, where you take action instead of waiting. And in those moments, you will realize something powerful. You have changed. Not temporarily, not slightly, but fundamentally. The old patterns that once controlled your reactions no longer have the same hold on you. And that is the true evidence that the chain reaction has taken root. But understand this as well, chosen one. Growth at this level comes with visibility. As you begin to step into alignment, others will notice. Some will be inspired by you. Some will be confused by you. Some may even try to pull you back into the version of yourself they are comfortable with. This is another layer of the journey, not a test of your strength, but a test of your identity. Will you stay true to who you are becoming, or will you shrink to maintain familiarity with others? You already know the answer. Because you did not come this far just to return to what you have outgrown. You did not endure this pressure, this uncertainty, this transformation just to settle back into comfort. No, this path you are on now requires expansion. It requires you to take up space in ways you once avoided. It requires you to trust your voice, your vision, your instincts, even when they lead you somewhere unfamiliar. And as you continue forward, something even more powerful begins to happen. The things that once drained you begin to fall away naturally. You no longer feel the need to force connections, to chase validation, to prove your worth. There is a quiet confidence building within you that does not need constant reinforcement. It simply exists. And because of that, your energy becomes more focused, more intentional, more aligned with what truly matters. This is where the chain reaction starts to show visible results. Not all at once, not in one overwhelming moment, but in a series of undeniable shifts. A conversation that opens a door, an idea that leads to an opportunity, a decision that sets everything into motion. These moments may seem small on their own, but together they create a momentum that cannot be ignored, and you will begin to see how everything is connecting, how every step you took, even the difficult ones, were leading you here. There will also be a deeper sense of gratitude that begins to emerge, not just for the good moments, but for the challenges as well. Because now you understand that without those challenges, you would not have become who you are now. Without the delays, you would not have developed patience. Without the uncertainty, you would not have discovered your inner strength. Everything had a purpose, even when it did not make sense at the time. And this realization changes everything. Because once you see your journey this way, you stop resisting what comes next. You stop fearing the unknown. You begin to trust the process in a way that is unshakable. Not because everything is guaranteed to be easy, but because you now know that you can handle whatever unfolds. And that level of trust creates a freedom that cannot be taken from you. So, as this chain reaction continues to expand, remember this moment. Remember who you became in these final days. Remember the strength you discovered, the clarity you gained, the alignment you stepped into. Because this is your foundation now. This is what you will build on moving forward. And the path ahead, it is not just about reaching a destination. It is about becoming someone who is fully aligned with their purpose, their direction, their truth. It is about walking forward without constantly looking back. It is about embracing what is unfolding without needing to control every detail. You are no longer preparing for the shift, you are living it. And as the days move forward, as April begins and the energy fully transitions, you will start to see just how powerful this moment truly was. Not because everything changed instantly, but because you did. And that change, it sets everything else into motion. The chain reaction has begun. It is active, it is unfolding, and it is carrying you forward into a reality that is no longer just a possibility. It is becoming your truth, step by step, moment by moment, exactly as it was meant to be. If you made it this far, this message was meant for you. Comment, "I am ready," and claim what is already aligning in your life.